joined by Giovanna Fletcher, but I call her G because she's my friend. I really like having a friend on.
It's nice, isn't it?
I mean, we've not stopped chatting all morning.
I know, I think we're going to run out of gas pretty soon.
I know. However, you'll be really proud of me because I read your book.
Have you?
Finally. I know. I've done a few recently.
Have you?
Yeah, I need to make sure I'm just constantly doing research because then it means I read books. Yeah, I was really proud of myself.
Well
and it was
done.
like, what, you read it?
Just reading about you.
I have actually read one of your other books, but this is just so much pressure, and I'm like, I'm not going to finish it in time, and I'm tired.
Tom and I don't read each other's books anymore. It got to the point where we're just there are too many books. There are too many.
There are a lot of books.
Yeah.
Because in the book that I read, which is Letters on Motherhood, there was like the list of the books that you've written prior, and I was like, bloody hell, that's a lot of books. I missed some of these. I was obviously in like a new baby days or something for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of writing.
How many?
I'm currently working on my 12th.
Oh my God. I don't know how you do it. 3 kids, like full-time career, writing all these books. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. But it's fun. I think it's that weird thing of it's weird to call it work because I do enjoy it.
You love it.
Yeah. And at some point I feel like you write what you need at that point.
Well, like Letters on Motherhood definitely seems like, it almost seems like some of the things you've written about are almost like a bit therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because I was reading them. Do you know, I felt quite emotional the whole way through reading it. I don't know whether it's because you have boys and obviously I have a boy. And like there was a bit where you were talking about the letter to the person that's gonna like have your son's heart. And I was literally like, and I was like, what do you mean? Because that's not happening with Cooper because he's going to be mine forever.
It's hard, yeah.
You said that, you were like, you're not going to be mine forever.
I know. Like, and it is that weird thing, I think, parenting is that you do so much and then it's suddenly about learning to let go. And I do think that starts from the moment you send them to nursery, send them to school. Suddenly they've got this whole other life that doesn't involve you.
Yeah.
And when they get in the car and you're like, oh, what did you do at school today? Don't know. How do you not know? We literally just left there.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were talking about it. I saw you.
Yeah.
You were doing something.
Who did you play with today? Don't know. Or if they really just don't want to talk to you, no one. What? No one played with you today? Oh my God.
Yeah, I need to talk to the teachers about this. Cooper came home the other day and I thought, I'll just ask this randomly. I mean, he won't know what this means, let alone have one. And I was like, you got a girlfriend at nursery? And he went, yes, Emma. And I was like, whoa, hang on. Sorry. Hold the phone.
I am not ready for this.
Who's Emma? What does a mum and dad do for a living? I need to go and speak to them. It's not okay.
Well, Buzz the other day, he wrote a letter so he's got a few girlfriends and girls that write him letters and say, Buzz, I want to marry you. And they play chase the boy. He loves hanging out with the girls. But he wrote a letter to one of their mums the other night, which I only knew about because the mum sent me the letter.
Oh!
Saying, hi.
Did he give it to her?
He gave it to the girl to give to her. And he was like, hi, so-and-so's mum. Just writing to ask if you can play so-and-so Weezer, because I love Weezer. And I think she'll really like it. Thank you. Bye. So he's really getting into like Weezer, AC/DC. Like,
oh my God.
Yes, but then the mum messaged me and she was like, I've managed to, I think there's a song called like Hash Cake or something like that. We've avoided that one. And then Tom was like, yes, you should probably avoid this one and this one.
Are they all sweary?
Sweary, the content, it's not appropriate, which we don't let him play those ones.
No.
But yeah, he has this other world at school and it's nice to see who they are without you.
Yeah.
But then obviously as they get older, that increases.
Do you feel like with each child, you've learned something completely different about parenting?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know whether I wouldn't change anything if I went back because my kids would be different.
Yeah.
And I love my kids, how they are. But yeah, definitely you kind of go, oh, right, if I'd have done that, then that would have made my life a little bit easier. And yeah, I've learned not to worry quite so much. Like there's always that thing with a third kid where, people say that with the first kid, if they pick something up off the floor, you're like, oh my God, we've got to anti-back everything and let's wash your mouth out and oh my God, go to the hospital. Whereas with third kid, you're like, oh, what's he eating? Oh, yesterday's dinner that's found its way. Oh, it's fine.
I'll be right.
Is he in the cat's bowl? Oh, it's fine. It is that, obviously not that, but it is that sense of they'll be all right.
They'll be all right. Toughens them up a bit, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And you talked about having Max, who was a little bit of a surprise. And it's so funny. Ever since I had a child and realised that Mum got pregnant with me when Lauren was 6 months old, I suddenly had this epiphany, and I was like, oh my God, I was a mistake, wasn't I? Mum was like, no, Pet, you were not a mistake. And I was like, Mum, come on. Yes, so obviously Max is a bit of a surprise. Yeah. And you had just kind of got your career to a point where you were like excelling, absolutely excelling. Not that you hadn't ever before, but you were doing what you wanted to do. You were, in a place you wanted to be with everything.
Yeah.
Had so much exciting stuff going on. You'd just done like a trek in a man.
Yeah.
And you were going to do another one the next year.
Yeah.
And then Max decided to
literally
set up home in your
Well, then me and Tom decided to have sex.
Well,
for a one-off. It was that weird thing where I always knew that I wanted to have another. I can remember just one day sitting on the sofa, and I always thought it would be in a couple of years' time. And I can remember just sitting on the sofa, beginning of January. The heating was on, I had woolly socks on, I had a jumper on, I was under the blanket and I was still really cold. I was like, that's weird, isn't it? Oh God, the last time I felt like this, I was pregnant with Buddy. I was like, oh no, because I've got PCOS, my periods are irregular. I was like, surely not.
You were like, no.
Yeah, and then because I like having, sticks to pee on around the house.
Every woman should just have a stick to pee on just in case.
Ovulation, pregnant, whatever. I thought, what, I'm just going to do a test. And I could not believe it. And actually, I think every time I have been pregnant, I've not felt anything. You know how usually if you're trying, kind of like, oh well, my boobs are feeling this, maybe.
My boobs. I think Mum noticed my boobs before I noticed my boobs.
I noticed your boobs actually in one photo beforehand, yeah. And then I thought, no. And
no, she maybe just got a really, really good push-up bra on. A load of padding.
So I really didn't know what he was going to be like. And then he started just laughing and was super happy straight away. And then I started crying because it was that thing, I'd been training with PMAC and I felt the fittest that I'd ever been. I'd done the trek, having my baby had come out. I think we'd started the podcast. Yeah, we had started the podcast. Like everything was going really well. And it was building blocks. And I knew that I had my foundation and was just a bit like, wow, like I'm suddenly not going to be, not going to be me, but that extra weight of responsibility, going back to feeding, going back to being up in the night all the time. I was just like, wow, we're in this still. And actually it was being on social media literally that night. And I think it was just like that thing of literally the next day I was meant to be going into Fabulous with Copperfield to talk about the next trek and I'd had an amazing time. So I think it was just that feeling of, this is going to all change. Yeah. And I was on social media that night. And you know how suggested feeds come up. And I saw, and that night it was when Baby Loss Awareness. And there were loads of candles. And there was this picture of a baby. And I don't know what made me click on it. But I did. And it was from this lady called Louise who was talking about her son Gabriel, who was stillborn. And I read that and I lost myself in her feed for a while. And I just thought, how lucky.
Yeah.
How lucky. And I remembered the miscarriage that I had before Buzz, how much I've always wanted to be a mum. And I just thought, how absolutely amazing is it that I've not had to go through any of the struggles to get to get pregnant this time. So yeah, that majorly shifted my...
Probably there was a reason you saw that post, wasn't there?
Yeah. Running completely changed my outlook on exercise and everything. And I think before then, I thought exercise was something that I did to beat myself up a bit, to punish my body because it had to be a certain way, which I was never going to be what it had on my mind and the world had told me I should be anyway. And then I started running only because Bryony Gordon asked me to do it in my underwear. She caught me at a moment where I was like, you had like a fucking moment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I started training. And I remember the first time I was only meant to go out. So PMAC sent me like a schedule to stick to. And the first day I was only meant to go out for 10 minutes, but run continuously. And I did that. And afterwards, literally, I felt like I couldn't breathe for most of the day, like the whole day. I could still, when you're breathing in after a run, and you feel that
makes you cough, doesn't it?
Like that wheeziness when you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh God, maybe I can't do this. And then the next time I went out for a 10-minute run, it was only half a day. And then the third time, it was just straight away afterwards, and then it was fine. And you're like, actually, no, this is good. And then you start realizing the effects that it's having on your mental health. All you can concentrate on really is either what's in your ears and what you're listening to, or like the one foot going in front of another. And it is that thing I know when I need to go out for a run and feel that freedom now.
Talking about bodies, exercise. Well, not exercise, just bodies really, and how they change. There was a letter that you wrote to your fanny, which I found rather interesting, because I actually very much related to this letter.
Well, again, though, that's moved on since that, because since then I've now been to see, like, a women's health physio.
Me too. Yeah.
So important. And I wish that people spoke about it more.
So do I.
I just feel like as women, we are made to feel, and this is not going down to feminist route, but I feel like we're made to feel like we have to look a certain way, we have to be a certain thing. And the way we feel about our bodies after birth, we just have to get on with it.
Yeah.
Just have to put up with it.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, and I know that I've made jokes of, running, and someone said, oh, how can you run? I'd pee the whole way. And then I've replied, say, oh, I'm like the Hansel and Gretel. I just follow my pee home. Making jokes of it.
Well, and then times when I've had to stop, I'm like, I'm definitely going to wet myself if I carry on. So I've just got to, and then I walk home in a really strange way. And also, I've had to start wearing patterned or black leggings when I go for a run, just in case.
Really?
Yeah. I remember, I never forget, there was this one time I was going rock climbing. I set off in these lovely grey leggings, and I was like halfway to the tube station. And I thought to myself, hell have I done? I'm going to be wearing a harness. I'm like going to be climbing. Like, what if I have to jump? And then what if I wee myself and I'm in grey leggings and everyone's going to see? And actually, I mean, it would have been fine had that have happened, but
it stops you from doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we have to start going, actually, this isn't normal. It happens. It's common, but it doesn't mean that it's normal and that I have to put up with it.
It needs to be, I think, like your pelvic floor and your pelvic floor health needs to be something that's addressed the second you get pregnant, or even prior to that, even when you're in
thought it was for sex. I had no idea that it was actually so that you can walk that way.
Yeah, I thought it just meant you either had a tight vagina or a saggy vagina. And one of them made sex better and the other one made it a little bit cavernous. Not really any tension or anything.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's been lovely as always. I was just chatting.
I know.
It's like we've managed to fit in our little mother's meeting as well.
But called it work.
Yeah, it's working. Danny, you've got to leave the house. Me and Jude just working. No kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.